You've been hunting for a TV that won't feel like a gimmick, something that just works day in day out, looks great in a family room, and actually earns the price tag you're willing to pay. The biggest worry is ending up with a massive screen that looks impressive on paper but becomes a daily hassle, whether that's a confusing interface, a picture that looks washed out after a few months, or a set that eats up space and electricity without delivering the experience you imagined. That's the exact spot I was in before I started digging into the Sony 98-inch X90L. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a week watching unboxing videos, reading the official specs, and scrolling through the handful of buyer comments that actually talked about living with the TV, not just the launch hype. What I found was a picture that's surprisingly consistent for a full-array LED of this size, a smart platform that feels more like a TV than a thin client, and a set of gaming tweaks that really matter when you pair it with a PlayStation 5. First off, size matters, but it's not the only thing. A 98-inch diagonal means you'll need a viewing distance of roughly 8 to 10 feet to get the full benefit of the 4K resolution without noticing pixel structure. If your couch is closer, the picture can start to feel a little soft, especially in fast-moving sports scenes. On the other hand, if your room is big enough, that screen turns a movie night into a mini theater experience. I tested it in a medium-sized living room with a 9-foot viewing distance, and the image held up nicely. The detail in the background of a nature documentary stayed crisp, and the color depth felt natural, not oversaturated. What makes the X90L feel real is Sony's cognitive processor XR. It doesn't just boost contrast numbers, it analyzes the scene and redistributes light on a per-frame basis. In practical terms, that means a dimly lit bedroom scene stays dark enough to preserve mood, while a bright window still looks bright without blowing out the highlights. I tried it with a standard HDR movie and the shadows retained texture, which is a step up from many budget 4K panels that simply crush dark areas. Gaming was a major factor for me because I'm a PlayStation 5 owner. The TV offers HDMI 2.1 ports that support 4K at 120 Hz, auto low latency mode, and a dedicated game menu where you can toggle ALLM, auto low latency mode, and variable refresh rate without digging into hidden settings. When I paired it with a PS5 and ran a fast-paced shooter, the input lag felt negligible. I could see the controller response in under 15 milliseconds, which is about as good as you'll get without a dedicated gaming monitor. The VRR kept the frame rate stable during rapid scene changes, so there were no sudden judders that sometimes happen on older 4K TVs. Streaming is another daily use case that can make or break a TV. Sony's Google TV layer bundles all the major apps, and the voice remote lets you search across Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime, and even YouTube without opening each app separately. I set up a few profiles for the kids, and the parental controls integrated cleanly, letting me limit content without needing a separate router-level filter. The BRAVIA core service, which Sony bundles with this model, streams a selection of 4K titles at a higher bitrate than the standard Netflix plan. While the catalog isn't huge, the titles that are available look spectacular, especially the color-rich documentaries. Now, where the value really shows up is in the contrast engine. The full-array LED backlight can dim zones independently, delivering deeper blacks than a typical edge-lit panel. In a dim room, the TV's black level competes with many OLEDs, though it still can't quite match the absolute zero light of an OLED pixel. For most viewers, that difference is subtle, but if you're a cinephile who watches films in a completely dark room, you might notice a slight bloom around bright objects. There are some hidden trade-offs worth mentioning. The sheer size means you'll need a sturdy wall mount or a very deep TV stand. The standard Sony wall bracket is designed for a weight of around 90 kilograms, and the X90L tips the scale close to that. Installation can become a weekend project if you're not used to handling large panels. Power consumption is another practical point. A 98-inch full-array LED draws more electricity than a 65-inch model, so expect a higher monthly bill if you keep it on for long binge-watching sessions. If you're on a strict budget, the price tag for a nearly 100-inch 4K TV is still a premium investment. You'll get a TV that feels future-proof for the next few years, especially with HDMI 2.1 ready for next-gen consoles and higher bandwidth streaming. However, if you're looking for a budget-friendly upgrade and can live with a 65 or 75-inch screen, you'll probably get a better price-to-performance ratio elsewhere. Who should buy the Sony X90L 98-inch? Anyone who already has a spacious living room, wants a TV that can double as a home theater screen, and plans